All right, I think we are live. I'm going to go ahead and check. And as you join in, say hello, where you're watching in from. I'm just making sure that we are good and we are live. I've been restricted for a while on Facebook. So I'm so happy to be able to come in and start doing live streams again and connect with all of you and be able to be together. It feels so good. Okay, Google, turn it down. So hello, everyone. I'm just checking. It looks like, is it working? Okay, I feel like we are good. So welcome to the Relationship Goals Masterclass. I am your guide through this journey, Indrani. And I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be able to share this. No, Gigi. Gigi wants to say hi, and then I'm going to put her back down. This is Gigi. Hi. Hi. She's very sweet, and she can be a distraction too. So we are going to play with her later. So as you join in, let me know where you're watching in from. And I want to share with you my journey, my client's journey, and what I've learned through the last 11 years of being married and marriage number 2, where it was a very different situation a couple years in. And now after 11 years, we have a marriage beyond my wildest dreams. He works from home 3 days a week. We're together all the time. And we have just created this beautiful relationship from the rockiest times. So I'm going to share with you my exact same framework that I use, that I share with my clients that are in my programs, that I coach, so you can be able to create a relationship that is your relationship goals in your mind. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And let's see. I'm going to go ahead and share this. And if you know anything about human design, I am a 5/1 manifesting generator. So I love to respond to things. So as you show up, whether you're watching live or on the replay, comment along. Let me know what's resonating with you. Let me know where you are in your journey, and let me know what's coming up for you so we can talk through this. I will comment along in people's, actually, there we go. I will comment along and respond to your comments, whether you're watching on the replay. But the most powerful thing is when we are spending time together and doing this thing, if you choose to go all in and say, you know what, I don't know what's here for me, but I'm setting the intention that I will find something, even if it's one thing that is a reminder for me. A lot of the times it's reminders for us because we already have a lot of the answers within. Other times it's a perspective shift that we're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that I did this. While we do this work, it's going to be such a powerful masterclass because I'm going to go through the framework. I'm going to share with you my examples and examples of some of my clients without disclosing their name. And then after that, we're going to go into, it's going to be so amazing, an embodiment practice. Because a lot of the master classes are like, okay, here's some steps, here's information, come work with me. Now, there are ways to work with me in a paid container that I'll talk about later. But what we're going to go through is, after we go through the framework, we're going to go through an embodiment practice for you to start playing with and diving deeper into relationship goals, emotional mastery, and really taking radical responsibility for our lives and connecting some of these wounds that we have. So I'm so freaking excited. Let's dive in and get started. I'm going to share my screen. I did a presentation for you, which is really exciting. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to make sure that you can still see me. Logging in from, I've got my iMac, I've got my iPad, I've got my phone, I've got all the devices, and I'm so grateful that we have so many devices to be able to use to connect with everyone around the world. It is absolutely incredible to me. Absolutely incredible. Okay, so I'm going to just make sure you can see my screen. So we are good. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay. So relationship goals. When I came up with this masterclass, it was in response to people online talking to me, asking me advice about my relationship and wanting to know more. But they weren't ready to dive in to do like the deeper work in the paid containers. They just wanted to get some advice and understand like how I created this relationship, because what they've seen online has really inspired them. I have friends in person that are like, how are you guys doing this? You've been married 11 years in your second marriage during COVID, and we've had a lot of challenges and obstacles we had to go through in our marriage. We had his heart surgery. I was diagnosed with depression 2 different times. Buying a home, buying an investment home, a foreclosure that we went through before I was married. So many different things that happened. 3 job relocations, me transitioning out of corporate America to get to create my business, and raising kids. It's a lot. It's a lot. And then dealing with the co-parenting. So many things going on, and yet 11 years married. He's coming home today from his business trip, and I am so excited to see him. The way that our relationship has evolved, I never knew was possible, especially for someone like me. So let's go ahead and dive in. The first thing I want you to feel into and think about is relationship goals is different to all of us. It's a different thing. It's different for everybody. So let me turn down the volume. It's different for everybody. So when you think about relationship goals, what are yours? What are your goals? My goals and your goals may be the same. They may be very different. We may have some in common. So as I share mine, go ahead and comment in the Facebook group underneath this. What are your goals? For me, first of all, I never thought about relationship goals at all. It wasn't a thing for me. It wasn't anything that I was taught. It was just like, okay, you find someone, you date them, you get engaged, you get married, you have kids, you buy a house together, you live a life, right? There was no real goals around it. And when I started developing relationship goals, as I deepened into my journey in my coaching, I was like, what do I want to experience, right? So here's a key question on what do you want to experience in your relationship? And this is going to be different for a lot of people. The key is some of the differences may be because you have core wounds around it. So for me, it was like, I want to feel safe. That's what I wanted in my first marriage. It's like, I wanted to feel safe because I didn't have that feeling of safety. I never saw it demonstrated for me growing up, and I never experienced that in relationships. So that was my number one thing, was I wanted to feel safe because of my wounding. The other thing for me was I wanted to feel secure, financially secure. And again, that was wounding for me growing up. So in my first marriage, even though I was getting my needs met on what I wanted was from a wounded place. Does this resonate? Let me know. And for me, it was so frustrating because when I was about to turn 30. And I know for a lot of us, we're like, 30 is the pinnacle year. Oh my gosh, we're thinking about it. We're thinking about our lives and what we're going to do and the rest of our lives. And it's like, that's kind of where we start reflecting. And as I started reflecting, I realized that I checked every single thing off the box. Let me know below if you're the same thing, a check off the box kind of person. And if you are, I get you. Was you. It was a long journey of checking things off the box, graduating from college, buying a home on my own, getting a good paying job, getting engaged, getting married, buying the big house, having a kid. So I had all of these things I checked off the box. And the last thing that was on my list was baby number 2. And I had that pivotal moment where I'm like, wait, I did all the things that I was supposed to do. I was a good girl. But I don't feel the way that I thought I would feel. I thought if I had my needs met, the financial security and the stability, then I should be happy, right? I should be fulfilled. Like, what is my problem? So I started second guessing myself. I started shaming myself because I would justify and rationalize, well, I have all of this and I have so much more than I thought that I could have. Why don't I feel happy? Maybe there's something wrong with me. I should be satisfied. I should be fine. But I wasn't. So we want to get really clear on what our relationship goals are. Now my relationship goals in marriage number 2 and as in my 40s are very different. Now it's like, I want to feel free in my relationship. I want the freedom to be able to be me, to be able to speak my truth, to be able to talk about sex, like sensuality and sexuality online, be able to wear what I want, be able to wear an outfit without a bra on if I want, to be able to show up as I am and have my partner not only accept me, but love me for that. I want to be able to feel interdependent, where we have our own lives and we're doing our own thing and we come together and we have a beautiful union. I want to feel fun and pleasure. I want to be able to do things with him and have experiences with him. We go golfing and we watch games together and we watch reality TV and we go out to dinners and we play pickleball and we hang out with friends. We have so many things in common. We have such a fun time together. And this wasn't the beginning of our marriage. Let me be clear. This was not happening in the beginning of our marriage, but this is what we were able to create. I wanted intimacy. I wanted to be able to talk to him and be able to share with him and share what was on my heart and have the hard conversations and have the passion and the romance and the love and the desire for each other. I wanted to have that pleasure and that passion, and I didn't want it to die. Because how many people have heard say yes, if you've heard, after a while, after X amount of years, fill in the blank, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, the passion dies. The like Carrie Bradshaw would say, the Zaza Zoo is gone. And I didn't want that in my relationship. I wanted to continue to feel that. Maybe not every day, all day, but I still wanted to feel that connection and that desire and that passion and the exploration. I didn't want to have our lovemaking be a routine, a schedule. Like, okay, let's plan this. Let's get it over with. It's satisfying. It's fine. I want it to be fireworks. Like Samantha's partner said, I want fireworks. Or Samantha wanted fireworks in Sex and the City. And her partner's like, you want fireworks? And she broke all the dishes. I want fireworks in the bedroom that turn me on, or in the hot tub, or wherever we are. Right. So those are my relationship goals. I would love to know, what are some of your relationship goals? I wanted to feel safe and secure, right, in our relationship, while also having the passion. I wanted to be able to deeply trust him and know that, you know what, when he goes out with his friends, when he goes on business trips, when he does all these things, I feel so secure and I don't feel like I need him, or I don't trust him, or he'll always have to follow up with me, right? I didn't want to be the girl I was, the opposite of this, because this is who I used to be. I used to be paranoid. I used to shut down and not have conversations. I used to just have sex to check it off the box. I have morphed into a completely different person by doing this framework I'm about to share with you. So share with me, what is coming up for you, right? What are those things coming up for you? When it comes to your relationship, your values, what do you want to experience? So let's get into the framework. Okay, we want to get into the framework, and it's a 3-step framework. And it's a consistent journey, right? The work is never done. The women in EA stay in the program and they stay in the legacy container because the work is never done. Things will come up, we'll get triggered all the time, but we use the same framework that I'm sharing with you now. Number 1 is radical responsibility. And this is everything. And when I saw this woman, I was like, oh my gosh, I was so like mesmerized by her. Owning it, radical responsibility. What does that mean to you? I would love to know. When I first heard this term, I'm like, oh, I like this. And as I started deepening into this, I was like, holy shit, the radical responsibility is so powerful. So as you feel into that word radical responsibility, I'm going to read to you a definition that resonated with me. Radical responsibility offers an alternative to the blame game. Ding, ding, ding. It involves stepping out of the blame paradigm altogether in order to focus on choice and possibility. How many of you say blame? If you're the one, as soon as something happened, you're looking for someone else to blame, right? Or you feel like your partner's blaming you all the time. It's like this blame game. It's like that song, Love is a Battlefield. It kind of feels like that when the blame's there, like, oh, well, you did this and I did this, or I did this because of this happened. The tit for tat blame game is like, that's how my marriage was. That's how all of my relationships were, to be honest, for most of my life, for over 35, probably 40 years of my life. He goes on to say, I define radical responsibility as a voluntary choice to assume or embrace 100% ownership for each and every circumstance we face in life. 100% ownership in each and every circumstance we face in life, for everything. Not as some kind of should or burden, but rather as a conscious act of self-empowerment and in the genuine exercise of personal freedom, right? So what does that mean? It's not, yeah, it's all my fault. It's not like being the martyr, right? It's all my fault. I know I'm the bad one. I know I can't do anything right. I know that I can't have that. I know that, I'm wrong. I caused this. I know I'm the one to blame. Again, the blame game. It's not about that. It's about owning it and choosing to see something different, to focus in on something different, owning it and doing something with it, doing something about it. He goes on to say, radical responsibility is not to be confused with self-blame. In fact, it has nothing whatsoever to do with blame. It's simply the choice to focus our attention, time, and energy on that which we have some influence over ourselves. Fucking chills. When I say that, what's landing for you? Let me know. And again, if you're watching on the replay, if you're watching live, comment along. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at them here and there. I want to get through the content and make sure I'm delivering a powerful masterclass to you. But I would love for you to show up, be active participant. If you're here and you're listening, take it to the next step, type it in. Let's go all in so you can get what you came here for. He goes on to say, generally, when we are to any degree uncomfortable with or unhappy with some present circumstance, we look outside of ourselves for the cause of our feelings, right? Oh my gosh, I don't feel good. Well, it's because my husband didn't call me, or it's because this is happening with my kids, or because I'm worried about this. It's something else outside of us. We look for someone or something to blame. We unwittingly give away our power and our hand over the control of our internal states to people and situations completely beyond our control. Waiting for our partner to tell us that we're pretty, waiting for this thing to happen, waiting for them to take responsibility, waiting for them to go to therapy, waiting for them to change, right? That's all things that are outside of our control. So we naturally become a victim when we're in this blame game and we're in this place of allowing other the other things outside of us to control us and control how we feel. We're out of our power. He goes on to say, radical responsibility is the choice to take back our power and focus on finding solutions rather than someone or something to blame. Faced with an uncomfortable or unwanted circumstance of any kind, we simply have to ask ourselves one very powerful, magical question. What can I do? And this is by Fleet Mull. I loved it. I'm not the best at definitions, but I can synthesize it and I can talk about it. So radical responsibility is showing up and saying, what is our part? What can we do? I want to feel this way. I want to create this. I want to have this type of relationship. How can I take my power back and take radical responsibility for that if that is a core desire of mine and that is something that I want to do? So let me know how that's landing for you. I'm gonna pull up and see. Jessica says safe and secure, passion taken care of. I love that. Yep. And we can start asking ourselves, safe and secure, where is that coming from? We're going to do a cool embodiment exercise for that. So radical responsibility. I'm going to share with you my radical responsibility, my point. I feel like a lot of the times there's a catalyst that happens. And this catalyst is my daughter. She's 10 now. She was much younger when we had this conversation. And we're in our front yard. We have a beautiful, huge avocado tree. So I'm like picking avocados and she's making me this stew with sticks and dirt and flowers and succulents. And as she's making it, she looks at me, she says, Mommy, can I ask you a question? I said, always. And she said, well, I get scared when you and dad fight. And as soon as she said that, like my heart dropped to the floor. I was shocked because what she's experiencing with my husband and I was a percentage, a tiny piece of the iceberg on what I experienced with my parents. And I feel like we always want to do better than our past generations, right? So I've done so much better in my second marriage compared to my first marriage, compared to what I saw growing up. So I'm giving my children so much more than what I had. But I realized that that wasn't enough. And that was a moment that I took radical responsibility. That was the moment that was like, you know what? I'm tired of waiting for my husband to change. I'm tired of threatening him to say, go to therapy. I'm not going to change until you go to therapy. I was done with waiting for him to do the things to make me happy. And that was the moment that I took radical responsibility. The moment. It was unbelievable on what changed when I decided to go all in. I was done with the excuses. I was done with waiting. I was done with the suffering. I was done with the tit for tat. I was done with the arguments and just waiting to say, well, I've done this. I've gone to therapy. I'm doing the work. I'm on my ascension journey and he's not. So I'm just going to sit back and wait for him to do it. That's not radical responsibility. That's the Scorpio energy, and that's speaking from my wounds. So when I had this conversation with my daughter, everything changed. And that was a moment that I took radical responsibility. There was a moment in my corporate career where we were launching this huge mentorship program to over 3,000 people. We had vendors and this whole program and system and emails and like all of this whole process to launch, right? And it was like, here's a launch date. We sent out the whole email. And there's a problem in the process. And we got so many complaints. It's like, I don't get migraines. I had a migraine 2 times in my life, and that was one of them. And I went home and I was like, oh my gosh, I messed this up. This was huge. And it was like all the way up to like the CEO, right? This was a huge initiative that we were doing. And the vendors didn't set something up, so they weren't able to access the website. They weren't able to access, the information, the associates. So in that situation, that was another moment where I was like, you know what? I could say that it was the vendors that did it and I could blame them. And that would be the truth. But who do I want to be in this moment? How do I want to lead myself? And what I did was I took full responsibility and I said that there was an issue on the vendor side and I did not follow up and check the links before I sent them. I assumed that they were okay. And so what I'm doing is I took full responsibility and I said, here is an SOP I'm creating, a standard operating procedure to make sure this never happens again. And it was insane on how my leadership team was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I was like, maybe I need to hand in my resignation letter because this was like a huge mistake. But when we take radical responsibility and not just blame ourselves and say, oh my gosh, you know what? I'm a bad person. I'm a bad wife because I argue with my husband. I'm a bad employee because I made this mistake. It's taking the radical responsibility and leading ourselves through it and making a change, doing the things that are within our control. I can't change my husband. I can't change the mistake, but how can I step up? How can I lead myself? And how can I change myself and make it better? Step 2 is the emotional mastery. And the emotional mastery is everything in a relationship. It's one of the 3 things. And I would love to know, what is your definition of emotional mastery when you hear that? Emotional intelligence, emotional mastery, something that's getting more and more into like mainframe and the buzzword. So I would love to know, really feel into, what is your definition of emotional mastery? I'm going to read to you something from the Oxford Dictionary. And it says emotional intelligence is a capability to be aware of, control, and express one's emotions and to handle interpersonal relationships judiciously and empathetically. Emotional intelligence is a key to both personal and professional success. This comes from the Oxford Dictionary. Emotional mastery is everything. Emotional mastery is so important for us to have. when we are able to not repress, because this happens a lot. Oh my gosh, I'm going to repress my emotions. I'm not going to say anything. That's not emotional mastery. That is just pushing it down. And when we push it down, we're not processing, and it's going to build and build and build and build and build until we explode. We don't want that. That's not the vibe. That's not what we want to create. I truly believe in my heart and my soul that when people go postal and crazy things happen, you're like, oh my God, I never knew that this person was capable of this. Like the horrible things, the tragedies that happen is because people are repressing their things. They're not able to process their things. They have wounds and they're repressing them, or they're taking them out in ways, but they're not processing them. That's what happens. We build, we build, we build, and then we explode. Let me know if that's happened to you. That has been the story of my life. I was both. I was passive aggressive. I was passive, and then I wouldn't say anything to please people and make sure that I belong and I fit in, and I wouldn't say anything. I wouldn't say anything, and I wouldn't say anything. And then the straw that broke the camel's back, and whoosh. And then other times, and that's where the aggressiveness would come in, right? Then I'd be aggressive and I would be crazy and say things. Other times I would have a very short fuse, and then I would snap or say something, react based on my wounds. As a Scorpio and who's dealt with a lot of trauma in her life, my natural reaction was, you hurt me, I'm going to hurt you 10 times worse, so you never hurt me again. So the things that I said, the things that I did, I would create distance. I would say horrible things to my family members, to my partners, so then they could feel my pain and they would never hurt me again. It was emotional warfare. And that's what I learned growing up. I didn't know any better. But can you imagine the impact that had in my relationship, in my first marriage, and my friendships, my community, with my family, with my romantic partners? It was a lot. It was that song, Love is a Battlefield, right? Tit for tat energy. And sometimes we're cool, and then other times we're like, nope. And then I would, in my marriage now, my second marriage, a few years in, I would withhold. I knew that his love language was touch and affection. I would withhold from him, and I would completely ignore him. I would shut him out because I knew that would hurt him so much. Now, was I trying to be a big, huge bitch? Sometimes, but that's just all that I knew. I wanted to make sure that he understood and he paid for it, so he would never do it again. So I would hold it over his head. I would guilt him and shame him to try to get what I wanted, right? That's all that I knew. And being able to give ourselves grace and compassion and have the emotional mastery to be able to understand and not beat myself up, or not be the martyr and be like, oh my gosh, I'm damaged, I'm horrible, I can't do this, and just sit in it. I've been able to alchemize it and learn from it and say, okay, hold on. Now that I know these things, now that I'm aware, now that I've woken up to this, what can I do differently? How can I lead myself differently? It's incredible. And as a result, now I'm able to respond to him from my values, from my desires, from the long-term vision and strategy that I have for our life, based on the manifesto I've created for my relationship, instead of the past wounds and the triggers and the hurt and the blame game and the martyr and the victim. And it's revolutionized our relationship without having to change him. So I want to share with you a situation that happened a few years ago. I want to say maybe this is probably like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. We were in Mexico. We're in Puerto Vallarta, beautiful location. And my husband was on a work trip, and he was the representative. He was next under the CEO working at Mitsubishi. And it was the top dealers from around the country. And we all took them to Mexico. And well, his company took them to Mexico. And it was an all-inclusive pay trip. So much fun. We had a great time until one night. The night where he was the show. I mean, we kind of had little things, little tanglements through the time, because my husband is a very magnetic person. He is so charismatic. He's so social. He's like from the Midwest, and he's confident and sexy. And he's got swagger, and he's like oozing of this like energy and this magnetism. He's a 5-1 generator. I'm a 5-1 manifesting generator. And it would trigger me sometimes because everyone, like everyone's eyes were on him. And back then, like I was almost 40, I was trying to find my light, speak my truth, be in my power. And so it was a power struggle. I'm like, wait, him shining his lights, dimming my light. And I'm not getting the attention from him that I want, right? So that was kind of happening at the pool and different events. And then when they had this big event, the ceremony, my husband was announcing it, shaking everyone's hand, kissing the baby, that whole thing. And he was getting a lot of attention. And on the dance floor, he's the one dancing in the middle. He does the running man, he does the worm, he does all of the things. And he was in his power and he was doing all these things. And they went into karaoke and he's a singer and I'm not the singer. And I intentionally started a fight with him so we could leave, so we could go back to our room, so I could get his attention again, so I could be the light, because he was shining so bright, I couldn't stand it. Did I know this in the moment? Absolutely not. I was just triggered by him. I responded with my triggers of passive aggressiveness. I would be short. I wouldn't say anything. I would be dismissive. And so I was acting enough for him to know that I was upset. And then when he suggested, okay, let's go back, I'm like, no. And then I finally said yes, because that's what I wanted. Right? This is where we were. Tit for tat, power struggle. The thing that attracted me to him the most, his light and his charisma and his dancing and his just like magnetism, was triggering the fuck out of me because I didn't have that. And that was another catalyst to me doing the deeper work, to be like, oh my gosh, you know what? I'm trying to minimize him. This is the man that I love, my partner, and I'm trying to minimize him because he's triggering me so much. I do not want to have this. And that's when I started doing the deeper emotional mastery work. And I realized that there were a lot of wounds that I had growing up, that I wanted to be seen. I wanted to be valued. I wanted to be heard. And he does it so effortlessly that it triggered me so much. Fast forward to the next year, night and day. We were the couple that everybody wanted to hang out with. We were the only table that was requested and sold out. Everyone, no one reserved a table and wanted to sit with people. It was just kind of like you come in as a big banquet hall and you just sit wherever. People requested to sit with us. I was able to see him in his light and be excited for him and admire him. He was able to recognize me because of the healing that I've done, and because I was healing a lot of those core wounds that had nothing to do with him. But sometimes when we have these core wounds, we will allow that to spill over into our different relationships. We'll allow those triggers to happen, and we think the triggers are the things that they're doing to us. Oh my gosh, he's not giving me attention. Is that the ultimate truth? Or do I feel that he's not giving me attention because I don't feel good enough? Do I need attention from him? And as a result, our relationship has transformed so much because I don't need his validation anymore. I've confirmed myself. I get to take up space. I don't see him shining his light or someone else shining their light, dimming mine. We all get to shine our lights. And we get to come to this awareness and have this different energetic connection and be able to communicate and be in a different way when we heal these things, these core wounds that tell us that we're not enough, that tell us that we can't shine our light, that are triggered by others, that are scared to speak our truth. When we're able to heal those things, we get to be magnetic and light up the world and be around people that are doing powerful things and not being triggered by them, but inspired by them. And then the third thing is potent communication. This is like the win-win communication, right? Being able to have these deep conversations with our partners and have them understand us, have them engage with us, have them be there and present and wanting to come to a win-win resolution. So here's the thing. it's great to have the conversations about the kids or the house or, whatever. But the win-win, hard, terrifying conversations, those are the things that are the hardest. Telling your partner something. For me and my husband, there's been a few different times in the relationships I've cheated before. And most of the cheating was emotionally. In this marriage, I have not. But there were moments where I had a temptation. I had like a physical connection. And when that happened, it was terrifying because I loved my partner and I wanted our connection to work. I wanted us to work. And when I had feelings for someone else, I was able to do the emotional and all of these things. That step number 1, the radical responsibility. Step number 2, the emotional mastery. Step number 3, the win-win communication. They're not steps. They're 3 different things. And they work well together. So with the emotional mastery, I got really clear and I was like, oh, this is what I'm missing from my marriage right now. We haven't had the one-on-one connection. He hasn't given me the compliments and the attention that I desire. I haven't been filling myself up with these things. When it was missing from him, I didn't lead myself through it and be able to ask for it or give it to myself, right? And feel whole. So when a jazz singer who's singing on stage and comes up to me and has this conversation, tells me how beautiful and charismatic I am and how I have an amazing smile, like that attention from an attractive, charismatic man felt amazing. And instead of wanting to continue that or wanting to explore that relationship, with this randomer, it made me realize that I was missing things in my relationship. And I was able to have a beautiful, authentic conversation with my husband, not threatening him, not trying to make him jealous, not throwing it in his face. It was like, hey, here's what's happening. And this was a few years ago. We just had this conversation a couple months ago as well, when I started feeling that we were disconnecting. And I felt like I was kind of disconnecting a little bit because I didn't feel like he was spending and having those intentional moments to spend time with me. Although he does so much around the house and for the kids, and he's picking up the kids and does the laundry and makes lunches and cleans the house. He does so many things, goes to the grocery store. I love all of that. And I also said that I want one-on-one time for us. We are the most important thing. First, it's me, and then it's us, and then it's our kids. So if we don't have that connection, we're going to drift. And so how can we do that? And by having that radical conversation, the win-win communication, he was able to be honest with me and said, I need more help with some of these things. I said, absolutely. So now a lot of times I will go with him to the grocery store so we can have that connection time. I will take care of things so he feels less of a burden. I'm not doing it because I have to. I do it because I desire to, so we can spend time together and I can make his load lighter because he does so much. Where in the past, I would say, well, I already know I married you because I knew that you're this amazing person and I want this. But the radical responsibility comes into the picture to be like, yeah, you know what? I could be doing more. I don't guilt or shame myself for doing it, for not doing it, but I can do more. I can wake up and I can pack the girls' lunch. I can do that. I can teach Brianna how to do it on her own. I can take care of these things so he doesn't have to do it, so we can create that time together and it doesn't feel like another burden on him, like another thing to do. And those conversations that we've had has deepened our connection. It's deepened our intimacy. It has been absolutely unreal what has happened as a result of me doing this work. Now, this whole time, I haven't said my husband went to therapy. He's never gone. Never. He doesn't read emotional intelligence books. He doesn't do the personal work where I do this every day. I continue to focus in and do this. It's not that we do it and we take care of it and we take the course and we're done and boom, we're healed. It is a constant journey. It is a constant dance. It's constant evolution. There's awarenesses that happen all the time. And as we have this awareness, as we have these triggers that happen, as we continue to grow and expand and want more and have create this amazing marriage that I have, when I have big desires or see somebody else doing things, or he does something to trigger me, I go back into my framework. I'm like, how do I take radical responsibility? How do I use my emotional mastery? And then how do I create that win-win communication? And when we do that, everything changes. We're back in our power. We get to create the relationship that we want without waiting on the other person to change, without waiting for them to tell the thing, without waiting for outside circumstances. As we lead ourselves, we change. The way that I show up changes. My energy changes. My words change. My vibe changes. And as a result, my husband responds differently, and he fucking loves it. Now, I'm here to also say, to be completely 100% real with you, that sometimes when you step into this hasn't happened. All of my clients that have used this EA method, that the framework is the EA method, and this is what we do. We have emotional mastery tools, we have accountability, we have hot seat coaching, and they embody these 8 tools. And all of them have bettered their relationship. I had a client, and she found out that her husband was having an affair. She found indiscretion, on communication, text messages, and she confronted him. She used the EA method. And so the times where she got triggered, she would leave, use one of the tools, the butterfly tool when she felt a wound coming up, the energy expansion tool when she just felt so anxious, or she just felt like she had so many feelings in her body to process her energy, the fear release tool when the anger was coming in. And as she left to process it, she come back to the conversation grounded. And she said after that conversation, they had it was closer, their intimacy and their closeness was better than ever. She said that they were able to cuddle and be able to have like this intimate time where it's been missing for years. He didn't change. It was how she showed up. It was being vulnerable, being in her power, being able to ask for what she wants and not taking it out on him, and having this connection. And now they're still growing together. They're still having these beautiful conversations. He's able to now he now is able to ask her for the things that he wants too. My husband's the same thing. He's just like, hey, babe, can I have this? Can we do this? Can we experience this? We have this deeper level of intimacy because I am asking for what I want from my power, and it makes our partner comfortable to ask for what they want. And also knowing that this isn't a foolproof thing to be able to get your man to do whatever they want, or your woman or your partner, whoever they are. It's about leading yourself and giving yourself the healing, the power, and the radical responsibility to take that action, and you change, you become different. And your partner has the opportunity to meet you there or fall away. But what happens is, as you're vibrating at this place, the people, the events, the opportunities at that vibrational level will come. So if I had these tools in my first marriage, would that have saved it? I don't know. I don't think so. But I created this method. I created the EA method and the 8 emotional mastery tools because I wanted this marriage to work. I knew he was my soulmate, and I was tired of waiting for him to change. And so I led myself. And as a result, our marriage, 11 years in, is better than our honeymoon period. And it's the same for so many of my clients, where their partner is now doing the things. They're sitting on the couch and watching video games and not participating. And my client was the one feeding the dogs, walking them, cleaning the house, making dinner, doing all the things. And as she embodied the EA method, he started doing things. He started doing things the right way, the way that she wanted. And one day she said that she walked home, she came home, opened the door, dinner was made, the house was clean, the dogs were walked. She's like, what the hell? I didn't even realize that I could do this. She calls the EA method voodoo magic, but we don't cast spells. So this is possible when we lead ourselves. And when our partner is open and ready, they'll step in alignment with us or they'll fall away so we can experience that with the person that is able to meet us where we want to be. So now I want to go ahead and dive in. And what we're going to do is I'm going to, we talked about all of these different things, right? We talked about the radical responsibility. We talked about the emotional mastery. We talked about the potent win-win communication. So now I want to go a little bit deeper. So as you're watching on the replay, I would love to play with this, implement it, start this embodiment process. So the first thing I want to ask you is, where do you feel like your emotional mastery level is on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 is like, oh my gosh, I know that I'm triggered. The moment that I'm triggered, I'm able to process it through. I'm able to speak from my power and my grace and my values, and I'm able to get what I want, and I'm an intentional creator of my reality. And I just move through things so quickly and nothing phases me. And I do the work. I don't bypass, I do the work to move through it. One is, oh my gosh, it's like, no, I'm triggered all the time. I am either repressing them or lashing out on people. I'm like, everyone else is to blame. Everything is happening to me and I don't know why. Right? That's like a 1. And 5 is like, oh, you know what? I know that, I take responsibility. I try to do the things, but I get triggered. I'm not really speaking I'm not speaking my truth. I am in my emotions a lot. I don't know how to process them. So I'd love to know, where are you on that scale? What number is popping out to you? And as you write down that number, and I would love, if you feel comfortable, you can share it share it with us. And now I invite you to close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and I invite you to picture, imagine, or feel yourself. Go back to a situation in your life where you feel you had a dispute with your partner, where you didn't agree with them, you weren't on the same page with them, you weren't happy with the outcome that happened, right? So I want you to go back to that moment and just feel into it. Feel into that, maybe that argument, that conversation that didn't go the way that you wanted. There's a disagreement. You didn't feel good about what happened. And I want you to feel into, like, what feeling is, like, are you feeling as you're replaying that in your head? Are you feeling disappointed? Are you feeling angry? Are you feeling shame, guilt, frustration? Share with me that emotion that's coming up for you when you're thinking about the situation. And because it is a situation where you disagree, it is probably going to be like a lower vibrational feeling: shame, guilt, anger, sadness. Maybe like you feel like abandoned, anxious. And from that, we can start understanding what that core wound is. And we just had a powerful transmission in the EA program around the core wound of I'm not enough. I'm not good enough, the fear of rejection, the fear of perfectionism, like stopping things because you have to be perfect. And a lot of these different things that happen, I'm not good enough, my needs don't matter, all stems to the core wound of I don't belong. I don't belong. So as you feel into this, so let's say that you had a situation with your partner and they said, you guys got into an argument on your point of view and you guys had a disagreement, right? Maybe you guys disagreed on what restaurant to go or what to do that night. when we start understanding the feeling behind that, so if you felt sadness about that, or if you felt angry, if you're like, you know what, he wasn't listening to what I was saying, or he didn't respect my opinion, or he didn't make a decision. What wound is that bringing up? Is it bringing up, I'm not good enough? My needs don't matter. He never listens to me, which is my needs don't matter. Did you not speak your truth and are you upset at yourself because you didn't say what you really wanted to do because you had the fear of rejection? You didn't want to be disappointed, so you didn't share what you wanted. Or maybe the people pleaser, and you're like, you know, whatever you want to do, but you actually did have something that you wanted to do. Or maybe you wanted him to guess or know you so well to be like, you know what, he should have known that I don't like sushi. And a lot of these things, when we start playing with a core wound attached to it, my needs don't matter, comes and connects with, I'm not good enough. My needs don't matter, therefore I'm not good enough. And good enough for who? Good enough for the collective, good enough for your partner, which feeds to I don't belong. So many of these core wounds feed to I don't belong. The perfectionism that comes up. Oh my gosh, I have to be perfect. Everything that I say is perfect. The way that I look needs to be perfect. The whole perfectionism wound. I'm not going to show up, or I'm not going to say what I want, or I need to lose the weight before I do this. I need to make sure that I know everything before I ask the question. Research has shown a lot of women do not apply for the job unless they have 100% of the requirements. Whereas men, it's like, I think it's like 40%. They don't care. They're like, I'm just going to apply for it. That whole perfectionism, right? No, I have to be perfect. I have to have everything done. It is avoiding the feeling of disappointment. And so we don't show up. So we don't feel disappointed. So we don't feel rejected, because then we will feel like we're not enough, and then we will not belong. And the not belonging is from our ancestors. It's something that our generations, our lineage, that was a real threat, a real danger. When there was no housing and sheltering, and we were living, you know, in the wild and in these camps and outdoors, there was a real emergency. You had to be a part of the tribe. You had to be part of the community to survive. And that fear is passed down to us. Epigenetics proves that it's passed down to us. So we will have that, but we don't have that fear anymore. That's not a real fear for us, but we are still going to feel that way. So when we start understanding what our core wounds are, I'm not enough, my needs don't matter, I don't belong. The fear of rejection, I don't want to be disappointed. When we start understanding these things, we can start doing the work to heal them. And as we start doing the work to heal them and rewire them, then our actions aren't based on our core wounds. Our actions aren't based on reacting. Instead, we're responding from our power, and that is where everything changes. That is where we are able to speak our truth. We're able to speak from our desires. We're able to speak with grace. We're able to speak and have these win-win conversations instead of protecting ourselves or being in the wounded warrior where it's just like, you know, I don't need you anyways. And I'm not hurt. And we end up putting this armor of protection, like Fort Knox barriers around us, so then we don't get hurt again. But when we do that, and I was a wounded warrior for a long time, when we're in that wounded warrior phase, we're missing the intimacy, the connection that we deeply desire as well. So really understanding this. So as you're watching along in the replay, comment along or send me a message and let me know what core wound is coming up for you. And that is the thing you get to process. That is the thing that you can start looking at. That is the thing that you can start seeing. Oh my gosh, where is this coming up in my life? For me, I have a tattoo that says perfectly imperfect because I was such a perfectionist. I would not show up. I would not launch this thing. I wouldn't talk about this thing. I wouldn't apply for the job. I wouldn't raise my hand unless it was perfect. And so I avoided it because I was scared. I was terrified that I wouldn't belong, that I wouldn't fit in, that I wouldn't get the job, that I wouldn't get the clients, I wouldn't get like these things, I wouldn't have it. And because I was scared and terrified that I wouldn't belong, it was easier for me not to fully show up. As I've been able to heal that and know that I'm not here to be perfect, I'm here to be perfectly imperfect and be okay with that and find belonging within myself and heal those core wounds, it has revolutionized how I'm able to show up in my relationship. Being able to ask for what I want and not be scared that he's going to say no. Being able to do the things and take the actions that will give me the results that I desire. And knowing that there's no perfectionism, I don't need to be perfect all the time. It's about me making that constant progress, the constant steps towards evolving to my most wildly unapologetic self. And enjoying every step of the journey and doing my work when I do feel triggered, when I do feel anxious, when I do feel comparison or jealousy or lack or fear or sadness or guilt or shame. We're meant to feel all these feelings. But leading myself through it, having the awareness and leading myself through it so I can move that energy and get back into my power. That is how we become the leaders of our lives. That is how we create relationship goal worthy partnership with someone. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen again. Let me know how that's landing for you. Let me know like what's coming up for you as I share that. And I would love to know your breakthroughs from this, right? Today we talked about the 3 framework that I use and my clients use on a regular basis to create that relationship goal worthy partnership. The radical responsibility, taking full fucking ownership for our desires, for what we want, being able to tap into our desires. I have a Pleasure Queen course that's starting next week. That's going to be amazing to be able to really tap into our pleasure and our desires and be able to know and fulfill it within ourselves, and then be able to ask our partners and share with them what we want. Taking radical responsibility for that is incredible. Being able to understand and uncover it. Right. And then the second part is the emotional mastery. How are we able to continue to be the master of our emotions, continue to do the work, continue to work through and have the awareness and the triggers and be aware of our body and our emotions and our thoughts and lead ourselves through it. Have a system, a tool, a method to be able to lead ourselves through the quickest way possible without re-traumatization within minutes. And extract that wisdom so we can take action from our power instead of react from our wounds and pain. And that is how we revolutionize our lives. We revolutionize who we are, and that revolutionizes our relationship without waiting for our partner to change. It's incredible. It's incredible. What I've seen in my marriage and the relationship of my clients blow me away. So if you are complete with this, it was an honor to be able to share with you, to be able to give to you, to be able to talk about the framework, take you through an embodiment practice, share with you my journey, the journey with some of my clients. Continue to connect with me, the group, the Wildly Unapologetic group in Facebook, on Instagram, and know that it was an absolute honor. It is incredible. I know when I was going through the darkest nights of the soul in my first marriage, in my second marriage, and I didn't know what I was going to do, I wanted someone to lead me through this. I wanted someone to share with me a framework. I wanted to be in a space where I could be held and have someone who has gone through the process to lead me through it. So I hope that you can take one of these things and have it resonate with you. What happened? Hold on, let's stop the share. I'm going to start that again. That's interesting. I think something happened with Canva. So hold on. Hold, please. And let me see if I can try to share that again. Let me see. I love technology. And sometimes when it doesn't work, I'm like, what? What just happened? What just happened? Here we go. Okay. Back to sharing. So if you're complete, I'm honored to do this work with you. If you have any questions, hit me up. Let me know your breakthroughs. And it was an honor to be with you. If you want more, if you're like, you know what, there's things that I want, I want to develop this more. I'm turned on by this. I'm excited about this. I want to be able to deepen. I've got different things for you. The Reignite Masterclass is, you get instant access to it. It is so powerful, and it is basically reigniting the relationship that you have. So if you're married, if you're in a relationship, or you want to start, you're not in a relationship, and you want to create this long-term vision, this manifesto for your current or future relationship, this masterclass is incredible. It is like an hour and a half. We go through it, and it's a workshop style. You get immediate access to it. It is already pre-recorded. And as soon as you get access to the Facebook group, you can watch it, go along with me, and it's a workshop style. So you end, once you're done with the masterclass, you have a manifesto, a long-term vision for your relationship. And this is the fundamental first step that you want to take to be able to be intentional and live in alignment with the relationship that you want. If we don't have a target for where we want to go, we're just going to go everywhere. So this is creating the target, casting that thing, getting really deep into your desires and how you want to feel. And I share my process with you. My clients have loved this. So if you want to jump into this, you can go ahead and type in Reignite, or we will post the link. This masterclass is on sale for a limited time for $88. I was selling it for $333. It's on sale for $88, and it is so powerful. I still have clients going through it. I just had a client go through it yesterday, and she was like, boom, popping all of this, like her insights and her breakthroughs, how excited she was. And she is an EA client that does my bigger program, and she still got so much value out of this. So if you want to do that, I'm offering that as an $88 course that you can go through at any time. You have lifetime access, and you get immediate access to it. We also have the collective with Indrani, which I am so excited about, because in my journey, I've been a coach for about 8 years. I've invested over $550,000 of my money into my own development, working with over 48 coaches now, and it's been incredible. And what I know for sure is, for women like me who want the breakthroughs, who want the awareness, who want to have more, it is incredible to be in the live energy of a mentor, of a guide that has been there, who has a level of mastery that I desire. The live component is everything. It is so powerful to be able to ask the questions, to get specific answers, to be able to be in the energy of someone leading the way. So in the collective, it is a monthly membership. It is, you get one Q&A live coaching call every month. So whatever questions you have, there'll be a Q&A. You can type it all in, all around relationships, money, manifesting, sensuality, anything that comes up. You can ask a question. And then every month I'm going to get together and I'm going to answer all the questions for you. So it's amazing. So you can actually get custom responses. And then we're also going to have one masterclass on manifesting, money, sensuality, relationships, leadership, confidence, all of these topics. We're going to have one masterclass a month. That value is $555. This, for the next 20 people, is $188 a month. And if you want to pay in full, it's even better. It's $1,111, which is insane. That's less than $100 a month. And the masterclasses are $333, and the live coaching is like $555. So it's actually $888 a month. Value. So if you want to jump into the collective, you want the live support, you want to get your feet wet, you want to be able to have that support and accountability, and women like-minded that want to expand and have more, you're ready to do the work, the collective is incredible. And then this is my baby. The EA program is incredible. This is where we do the big work. This is where there's hot seat coaching. We go through the 8 emotional mastery tools, and you go through this embodiment process. There's a 3-month program and there's a 9-month program. And 3 times a month, we come together. I do a live channel and we talk about, we just got into the perfectionism wound yesterday, and it was incredible. We'll do a transmission and then we do hot seat coaching for the VIP clients. It is incredible. It is such a beautiful space where you can share what's going on. You can talk about the things that you wouldn't even tell your best friend. We talk about relationships, parenting, affairs, pleasure, sexuality, manifesting, money, whatever is happening, whatever you're triggered with, you come into the group, you post a question where you get support from me or another certified EA coach within 24 hours. And then there's hot seat coaching every Thursday where you can come in and ask your question. You get hot seat coaching. The 3-month program of that is $5,000, and it's on sale now for a limited time for $3,000. And the 3-month program also includes the VIP hot seat coaching. So that's going to go away soon. And there's a 9-month program that has a VIP option, and that is $9,000, and that's on sale for $5,500. So if you want any of those things, if anything is like, oh my gosh, I really want that, or I want to play in your world a little bit, or I want to go all in. If you go all in with the EA program, you also get the Reignite Your Relationship program, as well as 6 months in the collective. So if any of these feel good to you, you want more information, we're going to go ahead and pop the links in there. We'll also send an email to everyone that registered with this masterclass, as well as the different offerings that we have. If you have any questions, absolutely let me know. This was a pleasure and an honor connecting with you and sharing with you and really giving you the framework of the steps that you can take to create that relationship that you want. The relationship that is better than the movies because it's actually fucking real. The relationship that when you go through the hard stuff, you are able to take the radical responsibility, have the emotional mastery so you can have those win-win conversations to be able to have everyone feel like they're winning. My husband and I, one of the most amazing accomplishments that I can say is we both feel like we're the lucky one. We're both having an amazing time. We both joke around and say, gosh, they say after 10 years, like the passion and the sex and the fun ends. I don't know who they're talking about. They're not talking about us. We have that type of relationship because I've taken radical responsibility. And by me changing myself, he's changed in response, and it is incredible. And when we do have the hard times, I have the emotional mastery tools to lead myself through it. So I'm not poisoning our marriage based on my past wounds that have nothing to do with him. And when I heal it, then I'm able to have that emotional mastery and speak to him and have those conversations based on my values and our long-term vision that I have for our relationship. And it's changed everything. So I love you so much. I hope this resonated with you. If you have any questions about the programs, if you have any questions about core wounds, you can definitely reach out to me. And I hope that you take one thing. I would love to know, like, what is that one takeaway that you can do, that you can start implementing now so you can step into that relationship that you desire by leading yourself and not waiting on them. I love you so much. I will see you soon. Bye.